Yeah,
This
that
is a
is a
meeting of the
violation.
Littlestown Area Board of School
It is a
Directors.
violation.
This is
I
a
know.
live in-person meeting taking place in the public in accordance with the Sunshine Law. By attending and or commenting publicly in this meeting, you are consenting to the recording, retention, and future viewing of this meeting. This meeting is also being live streamed as a convenience to the public. In the event the live stream fails or cannot be transmitted for any reason, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption. Carrie, would you please call the roll?
Janelle Ressler. Here. Mary Brenneman. Here. Nick Lovell.
Here.
William Sullivan.
Here.
Philip Perez.
Here.
Donna Bayless. Here. Stephen Yerger.
Here.
Danielle Brenneman. Here. Here.
Okay, if I could ask you all to please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
All right, are there any board acknowledgements or announcements?
Well, I don't want to take any thunder from the high school. I don't know if I talked about this or not, but this Wednesday, our field hockey team is hosting. It's just for the long Monday, but we're hosting the next Jack. And then Thursday night volleyball is hosting as well. So that's really cool. Short team that's all.
I want to acknowledge the basketball, our current board member, Bob Hahn, who served over 20 years.
Several, I think he's on 2 different times.
Yeah.
He learned a lot about the district. Any other board acknowledgements? I'll just once again announce, stated last week, we'll be having our board community forum on October 29th, Wednesday. Wednesday, October.
Middle school auditorium.
Middle school auditorium at 6 o'clock. All right, we are pleased to have with us our student representatives. First, we will have Rebecca Williams from the high school.
Hello. So we have a lot going on at the high school this month. Mini-thon, they are doing trunk or treat on Saturday, October 25th. They have a candy bar fundraiser next week, and they are hosting powder puff football and volleyball tournaments on November 8th. So far they have raised over $4,000 since the start of the school year to fight pediatric cancer. There are no new activities for the astronomy club. They focused on Saturn and its rings last month during clubs, and this month they will focus on Jupiter. The FFA, from October 28th to November 1st, 7 FFA members will be traveling to Indianapolis, Indiana to represent the state of Pennsylvania at the National FFA Convention. Members will be competing in the agronomy contest as well as the forestry competition. The FFA also has a fall fundraiser. They are selling fruit and poinsettias that will be beginning on October 22nd and run through November 20th. The poinsettias are grown by the horticulture class in the high school greenhouse. The junior class is currently selling R&K subs to raise additional funds for prom/their class trip. They are in the midst of voting for the prom 2026 theme. Current frontrunners are Fairy Tale and Masquerade. Prom committee will meet Wednesday to review final results and start planning. Interact had their monthly trash pickup, and they are going to be having trick or treat for UNICEF. And FBLA chapter has started the year with 46 members attending their first club meeting on September 24th, with more than 30 paid members. Our regional leadership workshop at Oakside Park on the 7th was very successful, with 37 members attending, along with hundreds of other students from various schools in the area. At the park, students got to know each other through team building activities and new members got to learn what FBLA is all about. Coming up, 17 students will be going to Kalahari Resort for the PA FBLA State Leadership Workshop from September 1st to the 3rd. Throughout the weekend, attendees will be gaining useful connections and learning key business skills from several guest speakers and personalized workshop presentations. FBLA is proud to be representing our school at the regional and state level this fall and coming winter. The Student Council hosted homecoming, and it was themed Let's Dance on September 24th, and it was a huge success. They have been working hard now on planning the upcoming Veterans Day Assembly, which will be on November 8th, and that's all for the announcements.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Williams? All right, thank you very much for the informative report. And for the first time, we have our middle school representative for the school year, Ms. Faith Ganella. Welcome to our board meeting.
Hi, my name is Faith Ganella. I'm in 8th grade and I'm the student council president here. Here's the last name, Edmund. We just began our grant 5 value caring. All students will be participating in a lesson on caring in the social studies class. We had our first prize award day earlier this month. All qualifying students enjoyed field day activity outside. Our pumpkin carving contest begins this week. We'll be raising money for PBIS. The winners are going to make a human ice cream sundae out of our Ladies Avenue tea. We are having our Halloween Eve series next week starting October 27th. We will have Pajama Day, Tea Tuesday, Wacky Wednesday, Halloween History on Thursday, and Black, Orange, and White Play Awards on Friday. Stay tuned for a special surprise field day from our teachers as well. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Any questions for Ms. Ganella? All right, we're going to let you off the hook easy since it's the first night. Any questions next? All right, turning now to our building principal updates, Dr. Becker.
Good evening, everyone. So as we reach the end of the first marking period, I'd like to recognize the work the staff at LHS continues to do day in and day out preparing our students. Kind of hard to imagine that we're to the point at the end of this week where we're finishing a quarter already of the school year. This preparation that they do comes in many forms. It's very far-reaching, and I truly do believe that the things that are happening in the building are a major part of preparing the students for life after they leave our district. So while assessment scores aren't our only focus in the building, our teachers continually take steps to prepare the students for our Keystone exams, for example, among the other exams and assessments that are out there. Our tested subject faculty has or will be completing CDTs, which are classroom diagnostic tools with the students. This diagnostic directly aligns to the end of course Keystone exams and lets them know where the students currently stand in reaching the skills necessary to succeed on those tests. And I've already seen the data breakdowns that have been prepared by the teachers that are using the CDT results, and have witnessed shifts in the instruction after acquiring this information, ensuring that the students are on track and going in the direction they need to go. Biology 10 teachers will soon be implementing the Firefly benchmarks, dealing with the moving target of the new standards that will be part of the Keystone exam, which they have been preparing for several years and now are turning a corner to new standards. Happy to report that they are, in my opinion, very well versed in doing so, and we can have great confidence in the teachers to prepare our students for that exam as well. So moving outside the classroom, as Mrs. Ressler stated, I'd like to congratulate a couple of our programs. Our field hockey and volleyball teams have qualified for the District 3 tournament in their respective sports. So field hockey is set to play on Wednesday, and that's going to be at 6 o'clock, and then Thursday at 6 o'clock will be our volleyball team, and we're hosting both games, which is very exciting to host district events here in Littlestown. So please come out and support those teams as they, in my belief, will advance through that tournament beyond this week. Also looking ahead a couple of weeks from now, before we will meet again, good luck to our Blue Band that will be attending their championship competition on Saturday, November 1st. I know that I've seen them multiple times, as have several of you that have come to games, and it's a fantastic show, and I'm very confident they're going to make us proud when they go to those championships as well. And Rebecca did a great job of summing up all the things I would never be able to remember around here. She did a great job because there's a lot of things that happen up in that building, and it's exciting as it continues to move on. So that's what I have tonight, if you have any questions.
Any questions for Dr. Becker? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Golden.
Good evening. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the PBAS process that we go through with our teachers. And what I'm going to speak about is very similar to what I'm sure is occurring at ACES and the high school as well. I just kind of chose to focus on it today in Legal Avenue. So PBAS stands for Pennsylvania Value Added Assessment System, and it's a tool that Pennsylvania schools use to measure how much academic progress students make from year to year. It doesn't just look at the PSSA test results, it looks at how much students have grown compared to what's expected based on their past performance. In other words, it shows whether students made more or less or about the same progress as similar students across the state. Schools use PBAS to understand the impact of their teaching, and it helps identify strengths and areas that may need more support to guide instructional decisions and set goals for continued student growth. So teachers use individual student PBAS data to better understand each learner's needs, and it helps them group students for instruction, to set realistic goals, plan lessons that provide the right level of challenge, whether that means offering extra support or extending learning for students who are already performing above grade level. Administrators can use PBAS data during individual teacher data meetings, which is what I really want to focus on, to have evidence-based conversations about student growth. The data helps highlight patterns or trends in teachers' classes, celebrate areas of strong progress, and identify where adjustments in instructional support may be needed. It serves as a guide for professional reflection, goal setting, and planning strategies to help students grow. So what I provided to you at your seat was a sample of a document that I prepare using PBAS data for each individual teacher. And again, I'm sure Dr. Becker and Ms. Moran do something very similar with their teachers. So what I do is I go into, I log in as administrator to PBAS, and I'm able to like screenshot or snip snippets of the individual teacher data to paste in this document to be able to have very specific conversations with teachers about the results that they've had historically and their plans moving forward. So again, this is just a made-up example. The data is actually from 2 different teachers put together. But it shows at the top those teacher-specific results, and it shows how well the teacher is doing at growing their students to the expected level. And then in the middle there, with the purple bars, what it does is it takes those teachers' students and it puts them into 3 buckets. The lowest achieving students, the middle achieving students, and the highest achieving students. And those bars indicate whether or not the teacher does an adequate job of growing that subset of students. So in this specific example, in the paper I gave you, it looks like this teacher does a really great job growing their lowest and middle students, but the highest achieving students under their care are losing ground. Okay, so that's just, again, you see the questions there about how we're growing students by achievement group. And then we can have discussions next on the sheet, our correlation data discussions. How does this data correlate to what we're seeing with iReady or your classroom data? What do we know historically from PSSA? How all of that puts together a picture of not only the instruction in the building, but in the classroom, by period, and by student. The state does provide to us some reflection guides for English and math. If this were a digital document, you see that they're highlighted in blue. There's links there to those reflection guides. I pare them down. They're very overwhelming, multiple page documents of reflection questions that teachers can consider in the areas of curriculum, instruction, and assessment. So I've kind of pared them down. It's still in those 3 areas, but to choose the questions that best reflect our goals and our areas if we need to try to focus the teachers in, because I'm sure you can imagine when you're handed a multiple page document of reflection questions, it's almost paralyzing. So helping them to focus there, and then just asking teachers to articulate their goal. What's going to be their response to this data, and what's their urgency? And that could be different for each teacher depending on their own specific data. So what should we keep doing, what should we stop doing, and what should we start doing? So this is just an example of a template I put together to guide those individual discussions with teachers in light of their individual data. So I just wanted to share that with you. Question? Yes.
How is the PBOS data mined? You know what I'm saying? How are the teachers being assessed so you can do this?
Yeah, so I cannot speak to, because it is certainly above my pay grade and understanding on how, the formulas that the state uses to calculate these things. But I can tell you that it's all dumped then into a site that teachers can access. And they only have access to the data that's related to them, so they can't see their colleagues' results. But they can log in and see their former students, their current students, their projections, and the data that relates to the students that are in front of them. So I don't know how it's all figured, because again, it's based on the student's individual historic PSSA performance, so it's kind of a trend of how well the student seems to do over time, but it's also considered a measure with how well other students like them are doing in the state. So there's some sort of magical algorithm that they use to make these predictions, and I can't speak to that specifically. Dr. Bergman, do you have a better way to describe that? Okay.
I think it's pretty much exclusively limited to PSSA data, our state assessment data, if I'm not mistaken.
But we
Well,
have,
no, we can also upload, like we do CDTs. That also helps with their predictions and their growth. I know we use iReady, and I heard last week or 2 weeks ago when we were talking with iReady in one of our meetings, and then I heard it again today. We should be getting an agreement to sign with them, and they will also put our iReady data in, so we'll get even richer data from this stuff.
But I really think you're on the right track by looking at growth data and focusing on formative assessments along the way, so we can change our instruction based upon the needs of our kids. Thank you.
it's eye-opening too when you look at those individual predictions of students, because if you have a handful of students who are predicted to be right there on the edge, like almost at the cusp of reaching proficiency, then teachers can say, well, what can we do for them? Not to exclude anyone else, but what can we do for them to get them over the hump, or just even moving up reporting categories from below basic to basic or something.